one of the problems uh, with the newer military. I don't know if you anoint for war and do what's that? I think sacrament before you deploy on a mission or something. I mean, you're pretty successful. But if you're gonna do a G day, you probably want to do the full thing. It was pretty impressive. I wasn't expecting to see somebody on like traditional rope in the middle of the desert. I mean, it was like I think at the most a couple weeks before G Day, at the most, maybe in a week. I don't remember because we deployed pretty quick, and that's why the colonel like that's what it was. Because when the colonel showed up, I didn't like see him as the brigade commander. I just thought he was like a staff colonel somewhere. Because he drove himself. If I'm not mistaken, he just like drove off. We're like, okay, who's this guy? Because we had GPS. So he's just like, gets his GPS and goes for a ride. Puts in our unit number and it's inside the GPS, I guess. Right. But I forgot, yeah. So something reminded me that you were it. You were the breach. You guys were the breach. That's why he showed up. Sure, he showed up for everybody, but we were like a platoon of engineers that were going to be on the breach, like a big part of the breach. Spearhead for 7th Corps. I mean, that's why he showed up. But yeah, it was that. So yeah, it was surreal. I feel like I was in Vietnam or something because that's the kind of stuff they did in Vietnam. But again, there are still some people from Vietnam left in the military, and a lot of us were trained by Vietnam people. So it was like something out of it. I didn't expect it. That's why I walk in there and see somebody in battle uniform, battle dress. Good guy, I mean. Go through all that, in the middle of the desert. Guess he's a real priest. Or was. Imagine, he was an older guy. I'm sure he's passed on. Right. So the whole Luna thing, like I never saw that part. I've been looking, trying to find that information. I was blocked from it, I think. So AI found it. I didn't know the part about a run amok informant, but it's worse than that. It's like an army of informants, but they're not really informants. They're deep state. There's a lot. You want to get that. You want to get that hearing and go through it. Yeah. If they had me there, it would have been a whole different world, and they knew it. Well, part of it, they were trying to get rid of loose ends that they psychologically operated. I believe that had evidence of what they do. Again, like back then, I still couldn't figure all of it out. I knew I worked with assholes. That was about it. Not all of them, but quite a few. Then there was the hidden things. Yeah, I think the Russians were involved. Well, trying to corrupt our government. They don't care if you're corrupt from Russia. They just want you to be for Russia. They just want you to be corrupt because then your star. They get you to kill your stars. That's what happened with Noam. Now hers started a long time ago. I'm sure it started when she started bad mouthing Obama. Oh, they're big things sexually. That's how people like Brennan get their position, by killing people when they're agents and officers, like outside the CIA system. The deep state murders and forced suicides. No, there's no doubt that Brennan is a murderer outside of CIA necessity, deep state operations. That's how they get their has anybody that rises that level, it could be I mean, even I don't think Tulsi. I don't think Tulsi wasn't a career agent. But like Haspel, she probably killed a few Americans laughing about it. Got a few million apiece or something. Look, you can't even invest money in this country if they say you can't invest money. But yet criminals are investing money every day, like Pritzker. He's a criminal. It doesn't matter if they just don't like you. That's all. I mean, there's a lot around it, but if they don't like you, that's it. Don't listen to their bullshit. They operate people, make up bullshit, get you to investigate this and say you're committing a crime, get you to investigate that and say you're committing a crime. At least I didn't fall for the one where I'm actually working for them. They tried that one after I left the government. They'd probably have me, commit some major crime and then get me arrested. That's why that CIA officer that said he left and his coworkers knew what he was doing, he dummy to take money from China. I would never take money from China, even if I thought I was working on the side for the CIA. But you should look up that Luna hearing. It's pretty funny. Her name's Luna. It's how God works sometimes. Well, you're not going to have all the evidence because they were killing me. That would have been it would have been world class hearing, man. But some of what they said is somebody was throwing their sex around and all that. That's deep state. They use their FBI agents like whores to take men out in a kind of a spycraft honeypot. Well, stay peaceful, praise God, and all that you do, praise God.